Yeah, I just Come on in and grab a drink. Talk about anything. Grab a cigar, just sit right down, all family here. Let's go! Welcome to the show. Drinks and Dave. Drinks and Dave. Welcome to the show.
Maybe. Welcome to Drinks and Daves. I hope everybody's doing wonderful. And as I said in the chat, your earthquake kits are under your stool or your, I don't want to see, that sounds weird. If you say that something's under your stool, that just doesn't, under your chair, under your chair. So welcome to Linda and Eric and Stephen. Thank you so much. As you can see by my background, I was able to find, for those of us of a certain age, there was a can't remember the name of the producer. I think it wasn't Cecil, but maybe it was Cecil B. DeMille. I can't remember. But he went through this thing of a bunch of, there was Earthquake, there was the Towering Inferno.
Oh, he did the disaster.
He did all the disaster movies. So when we were talking about this show, I said, I'm going to find the original poster for Earthquake with Charlton Heston and all the people that are already dead. So anyhow, that's the background. So
well, before we get started, people don't know we poured every dime we've made into this show into that new song we have.
Absolutely. Yeah. We had to hire Bocephus McGillicuddy to record that for us, and stuff like that. But yeah, so we appreciate your support. And don't forget, guys, if you like what you see, like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and send it out to your friends. I mean, where else they get this quality entertainment from two geniuses? And hit the like button. Tig said so. That's right. Tig said so. So before we get started, how you doing, Dave?
I'm good. It's going to be a good week, right?
Your logo went south as we.
No, I turned it off. I realized,
okay.
Yeah. So I had the logo on the big screen, the small big screen, and I was telling you before the show started. The problem is that that's a picture viewing app. So I have our logo on there, and then when it goes into screensaver, it starts scrolling through photos, and I realized I'm going to forget to do that to keep it live, and it's going to start scrolling through photos.
Well, can you set that logo up to be like 420 photos, and it'll just go through that?
Oh, a slideshow
of just the logo.
We'll see. Maybe next, yeah.
You could do
photo.
You could do the the slideshow of the logo, and then various clips, little shots of us during shows in the last year.
They would love that.
Wouldn't they? Yeah. That would be fantastic. Excuse me 1 minute. One of our audience members has their cell phone turned on, and there's a delay. I won't say who that was. We have a large group that comes and watches this at the Eisenhuth Studios. Yes.
Yeah, there's at least 3 of you there.
Well, 4 if you include Conan and Leica.
Yeah.
So what are you smoking tonight?
I'm smoking the Perdomo 10th anniversary champagne.
Nice. Very nice. I am finishing off. Okay, everybody in the audience, try to guess which cigar I'm smoking again.
We got the Quorum.
The Quorum Shade. Yeah, I've gotten used to these as my daily cigar. I've had 4 of them today, but
they're very affordable.
Yes, they very are. And what are you drinking?
What diet generic soda is in your glass today?
Believe it or not, I'm double. I keep saying these inappropriate statements. I'm double fisting tonight.
Under your stool?
Yeah, under the stool. I am drinking a Kroger, better known as Fry's. Big K's.
That's right. That's your new passion.
Yeah, it's not as sweet as the RC0.
That's one. You were all hot and bothered for what it's not stevia because that's the sweetener, but the soda sounded like that. STEV something. The soda.
Oh yeah. That was a long time ago. That was my palate. My palate has become more refined.
Yeah, you went from that to the Soda Stream to gallons of RC0, which became
unobtainable. Right
now, we're on to this one.
Well, and the thing is, but today, since since my wife was nice enough to bring me home a gourmet meal, Zevia, that's it, a gourmet meal of Chez Taco Bell. Aside from that, I'm having a pineapple lime Rockstar Zero Refresca is what they call it. It's pineapple and
Okay.
lime. It's very tasty.
You and the high schoolers must love that, I'm sure.
No, I
don't know.
almost got a Mountain Dew, a zero, but I didn't.
I see. I'm drinking Barrel Seagrass Cask Strength, finished in it's a rye, finished in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels.
Wow. Is it too
Yeah.
sweet though?
Well, it's not my stuff finished in rum barrels is not my favorite. So I got it on ice. We're gonna kind of
Oh, okay. So it's
Water
kind of
cup.
it's kind of an alcoholic refresca. And and look at it. It's the same color. Look, it's almost the same color. So we're matching.
There's got to
drinks.
be vitamin C or something in there from the apricot barrel.
Well, and I guess I must say I'm not on the wagon, but I normally don't drink on our show because by the time we're done with the show and we have dinner and then I've got to work tomorrow morning and I usually overindulge. And so
Oh,
yeah, so otherwise.
all right.
So yeah, that's what I'm drinking tonight.
Self-limiting. Right.
So let's read some of the comments from the barflies real quick. Okay, from Linda says, hello there from your dad. What's shaking? Good evening from Eric. P-Beat, our friend P-Beat. Those who survived the San Francisco earthquake said, thank God I'm still alive. But of course, those who died, their lives will never be the same again. Barbara Boxer. Interesting. That goes to show you the mentality of Barbara Boxer, but we won't go into that. That could turn into a political statement. We're not going to do that.
How come the first post from P-Beat was not what he was drinking? We've gotten way
I'm
off
surprised.
topic.
Well, he says P-Beat says that was Barbara Boxer in her declining years, but P-Beat hasn't given us his drink yet, so maybe he's declining. And then they were all declining. So we're caught up on the comments. So
that's the show.
yeah, exactly.
Thanks,
So
folks.
when you and I were go ahead.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Because it's something to hear your opinion on. So we're way into cruising. So I was watching this cruise show, and one of the hot topics of the nerds is tips. Right? Because just like restaurants, that's one industry that they get paid very little, and a big chunk of their pay are the tips from the cruisers. And so some jackasses will remove the tips because they're not required, and they say, "Well, I don't believe in tipping." So the person that gets the shaft is this poor person, working their butt off. Well, apparently 2 cruise lines now have said you cannot remove the tips anymore. Which, okay, fine, and I like that. But then if it's required, is that not just part of the cruise fare at that point?
Well, let's before we get into our main topic, let's break that down a little bit, and then I'll give you my opinion. Okay, the people and people, and you know this because you're what they call the ultra cruiser. But for those of us that do cruises, wow, PB's drinking Mr. Pibb. Good for you, bud. Have a moon pie with that while you're at it.
Hey, but Mr. Pibb Zero, it's delicious.
Is it? What about
It's
Dr.
good.
Pepper Zero? They got that too.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the people that work on the cruise line, what people don't realize is you don't just have a butler or you don't just have a room steward. Those people work multiple jobs on the ship. I mean, your waiter may end up being out by the pool, maybe out in the dinner in the restaurant, maybe in housekeeping. These people work insane hours, number one. And I know they have a contract and they choose to do this. I get that. But the cruise lines that don't include tipping. Now let's talk about that first. There are a couple of elite cruise lines that include tips automatically.
It's included.
Right, it's included. That's Regent, Seabourn, Oceania. I'm sure there's a few more. And I think that for those people that don't tip, they should be shuffled to those cruises. Because even on those cruises, people that I know of that have been, I haven't been on a Seabourn or a Regent yet, they still tip over and above and beyond because the people work hard. However, that being said, many countries in the world
Yes.
don't believe in tipping. They figure
Right.
that, I mean, especially like I've got a bunch of clients from Great Britain, and they just don't believe in tipping. Now, in my case, their excuse is, well, you own the shop. Why do you need to be tipped? I don't care, because I've never said that. But yes, the guy who peels the cold
Oh,
shrimp
no.
also unclogs the toilet.
no,
Yes, he does. A little bit extra spice never hurts. So by saying that you have to tip, I am not really for that. I
Okay,
think
so
that
wait, so right. So here's where it's veering away from where I was going, but yeah, that was a problem. So when Disney, they did they took a ship down to Australia where they don't tip. And so the workers got a lot less money during that period of time just because that wasn't the custom there. But kind of where I was headed, so there's also restaurants that tend to be like, right, if you're a large party,
right.
and it's mandatory. You got your 20% tacked on, no choice, right? There are some restaurants that now, even whatever your party size, it's automatic. And so I'm just thinking, if anything's going to be automatic, there ought to be a law that's on the price tag, because that's not optional. It's not a tip. You're baking it into, right? If it's not optional, it needs to be included in the price. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and here's the whole other thing. A lot of these restaurants, and we've discussed this before, a lot of these restaurants will charge a 3% credit card fee when their POS system only charges them 1.5%. So my argument there is, if they're going to do that and they make mandatory tipping, let's say they make mandatory tipping on a large group 18%. Let's just use that number. How much of that 18% is the actual server getting? I would venture to say they're not getting all of it. Or it's being pooled for everybody.
Or like when you buy a ticket online and there's an $8 service fee that's mandatory, like that's the only way you can buy a ticket. That's not a service fee. That's just part of the ticket at that point. So to advertise the $20 ticket, it's going to cost you $28. That's what I'm saying. If there's any mandatory fees, you got to throw them in there.
I agree. I agree. And I think that these companies that are saying you can't cruise on our cruise line if you decide not to tip, number one, how are they going to enforce it? Or number two, they're gonna be like Seabourn. Yeah, they're gonna be like Seabourn or Regent and just include it. And to me,
yeah, but it's Margaritaville where a cruise is like $75. So
right,
you're not gonna have those people sailing Regents and Seabourn.
Right. Well, having been in the service industry, you've been in the service industry. Tipping, in my mind, tipping is not expected, but what it shows is that the client appreciates the service and the work that you've given. I think where people have gone off the line is, it's being forced in their face.
Because that's now the American society, and that's a whole different topic and argument, but that's what it's become. So that they're getting paid bare minimum with the idea that part of their income is from tips, right? So if you go out to eat and say,
so here's something, if a mandatory tip, it should be a minimum like 5 or 7%. And most people will tip higher, as those guys do work hard. But if you get someone who ignores you, they don't get 20%. I agree with that. When we go to restaurants, we have this discussion every time, and we really say, okay, was this person attentive? Was this person nice? Was this person that? And usually if we check all those boxes, they're going to get more than what people say is the standard 20%. They're going to get a lot more than that. There was a situation here just recently where one of the Arizona basketball players, now you can say that this is why the NIL isn't working. He went into a burger place in Tucson. The waitress was really nice. Didn't really know who he was, but was very nice. And it was like a $37 ticket, and he gave her a $950 tip. Well, that's cool for her, but where is a college basketball player getting enough money to tip for $950? Yes, that's the NIL, but that's a whole nother thing. So PB brings up one that says, how about tipping choice being included on the credit debit card machine in California wineries in the wine store? I don't know. Answer that one.
I know. You don't tip on stuff you go to the register just to have rung up. That's my thing, right? Like the barista who spends 45 seconds making your coffee, you're gonna tip them for that? No.
Right.
But here's something I did not realize was a social faux pas of mine that I had to get educated on. That when you go to a wine tasting, you're supposed to tip your host. I thought, well, they're paid by the winery to kind of advertise the wines and get you to buy them. And apparently they're, again, not paid very well and kind of get tip money. And because, when we were members of wineries, our tastings were free. So I have the tasting, get up, walk away, thinking, well, I'm buying wine on a quarterly basis. I'm kind of supporting that. And their point was, but your host isn't getting a dime of that.
Right. Well, and I think that changes. Well, in that case, that changes the entire paradigm of how the businesses should run. Because another thing, I'll read this from Stephen. And if we're tipping for service, why are there tipping options in stores where there's no service other than standing at the cash register? That's the point I was trying to illustrate, Steve, is that tips are being thrown in people's faces just for any reason. And what Matt says, Eric says, merit-based tipping, that's madness. Okay, I think he's being sarcastic here, but I think that's the biggest problem. And another thing you have to factor in is in a lot of states, the old adage of making $2.12 an hour because you're a tipped employee, those have gone away. They are now making minimum wage. Well, if they're making minimum wage and it's $23 an hour, plus they still expect a 20% tip, then you've got some issues. Yeah, I'm saying there's places that are like that. But another thing they have to realize is tipping is now non-taxable. That's huge as far as income. That's monstrous. Because no tips, because if they make $5 an hour and they work so many hours a week, that's their taxable income. They could make 3 times that in tips and not have to pay a dime of taxes on it. So that's interesting. Tiglily says, when I was a waitress, or actually, apparently she was waitresses. I did not know that. This is how good, good my wife was. She was a waitress.
Table, she said.
Yeah. She was taxed 8% to account for tipping. That needs to be recognized by sized by customers. She's been into the brandy a little bit tonight, I think.
Maybe
most don't know Al. Most don't know Al. I'm gonna get slapped probably while we're talking here. Federally they're not tax state, they are. So come on, Dave. When have I ever been sarcastic? Never, Eric, never. So that's actually, that's a topic for a show. It really is. And we've just blown it out the wall.
There, we did it. Yeah.
And Sharon doesn't have fat fingers. She weighs like 90 pounds soaking wet. So she doesn't have fat fingers. So let's talk about the subject at hand. And I know you did this pre-stuff because you didn't think we'd have an hour to fill, but I did research today. I actually physically did research. And the only reason I did is because I had to do laundry and it was windy outside, so I couldn't fly the drone. So I was sitting in the computer looking at stuff. So what prompted this whole thing is I received a AccuWeather alert. And the AccuWeather alert says over 100 earthquakes in the San Francisco area in the last 10 to 20 days. So that, obviously you being my friend, you living in San Francisco and Pantea living in San Francisco, I went, oh crapola. So I started doing some research, and sure enough, between those dates leading up to today, there's been almost 100 minor quakes. Now for us, anything above 2 is like, oh God, we're going to die. But for you guys, it's like, big deal. The flag blew. But these were different. These were between 3.5 and 5 over the last days. So when you and I talked about the subject matter, you've always been very, very, very nonchalant about earthquakes. That's one thing I've noticed about you in all these years I've known you, is that like, oh God, they reported you had an earthquake. We didn't even feel nothing. Except this one, the last one that I talked about, you said that the building started to sway a little bit. How did
that's the first time. And we've had stronger ones. Like I think the last one I said that we felt the house shook. They've all been really short. That's the thing. So it kind of, and then it's done. And then, but you get your heart's pumping because you're like, you think it's a truck outside. You realize it's an earthquake. You realize this structure's moving, and then it ends. But your body like ramps up, right?
Oh, sure. Because
this last one, I was only up on the third floor is where my office is, and same thing, kind of like this. The whole thing just shook, and then you feel the building like swaying, which is what they're meant to do so they don't break. But I'm thinking, I'm only 3 stories up to be feeling this swaying. It's got to be moving a decent amount, and I've never felt that before. So that's a little unsettling. A big concrete building, you feel kind of doing that. I did not like that.
Since your mom says it's time for you to move to Portland, but the thing is, obviously new construction of all the buildings in San Francisco and all over California now are they a shock absorber? Is that what they pretty much are?
Some are. A lot of the hospitals by law had to be retrofit to handle earthquakes, and because you couldn't do that, so they do a lot of cross bracing with big steel girders and stuff.
So this became a real interesting point why I wanted to make it a show today. So I started doing some research, and 95% of all earthquakes in the world take place in the Ring of Fire. Now, the Ring of Fire is a circle that just off the coast of Washington comes all the way down through the Gulf of Mexico, or not the Gulf of Mexico, where Cabo San Lucas is.
Like the Baja, Mexico.
Yeah, the Baja, and then it goes out into the ocean underneath the Eastern Pacific or the Western Pacific, and then up through Japan, and it's a big circle. Then you move inland into the United States, and you've got pockets in Washington, Oregon, and then Wyoming, because the world's largest volcano happens to be in Yellowstone, but there's earthquakes and tremors. And then you go even further, and the Midwest is a huge place for earthquakes. And then you go out to the east and stuff like that. So took it one step further.
The Rockies, right, that were formed by
Exactly. That was the next thing I was going to talk about, because an earthquake basically is the Earth's plates, the tectonic plates are moving all the time. It's just when literally, like if you get a rock stuck in your tire and you're going down the road and it finally breaks off and, goes shooting somewhere, that's basically what happens is the tectonic plates are real tight and they get caught. And then the pressure is still wanting to move it. And then finally it just releases and it goes nuts. Now, Arizona has never been known for major earthquakes for the most part, although we do have them apparently. Apparently, every state in the union has at least one earthquake a month. That's what really blew me away. You can't feel them. They're like 1.2, 1.3. But in Arizona, in May of 1887, as I read my notes, the Sonoran earthquake occurred. It was 30 miles north of Douglas. It was a 7.6 earthquake, so a serious one, and it created one of our tourist attractions in Tucson called Sabino Canyon. So the mountains literally separated. I would have not wanted to be here for that, because earthquakes, because unless you're in the air, you're screwed. Sounds like what happened to his lower back.
Let me answer this. Surgical theater is in the 1960s is when they had surgical theaters.
Oh, what are they now?
What are they now? Operating rooms.
Yeah, but surgical theater sounds so much better.
Yeah.
I mean,
we could sell tickets. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was fortunate enough to be able to watch. I didn't drop a jujube or down in the thing, but no, it's kind of cool. Well, now how much of the surgeries are actually done remotely now? What's that system, Galileo, or
they're not remote? Well, I guess they can be. Most are not remote. The operator, the robot is right there.
Right. But that's pretty cool though, because the incision, because my first back surgery was like this long. And when I had the other one, it's like tiny. So that's a good thing.
I went on a hike once, not too far from here, where there's a white picket fence. So it happened recently enough that there was a homestead or something there, and there had been an earthquake that offset the fence like this. And there was a good 30 feet from, one run of the fence till where, would have met up. Mm-hmm. And that shows how far the earth moved when that earthquake happened.
Well, but the San Andreas Fault runs right through you guys, doesn't it? Or real close.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's, before, I'm like everybody else. Before I moved here, I'm like, what morons would live in California? And it's just going to break off and go into and then I'm on the highway that goes right near our house here. And you can take a road over to the beach, and I get told, this valley right here where these homes are that we're driving in, this is the San Andreas Fault. This is it. This is ground zero. And I'm like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, it's well, and the thing is, they keep thinking that, you know, there's going to be another. I know that they probably always talk about San Francisco having another big one, but why is it that it seems to zero in on San Francisco? Is there, I mean, obviously the fault's right there, but is there some other type of tectonic crap going on that would require
But
that?
it's not. That's where the people are. So that's where you're going to hear about them. I was saying if you look on the app, there's a place about 100 miles north of here that every week I get notifications of an earthquake in exactly the same place all the time. So that's much more active than it is here. But
so yeah, but they're obviously happening all the time. It's just that we don't notice them until they get that. But to go back to our surgical thing, this is a public service announcement that Eric wants us to know that if he got a cut of the proceeds, he'd let a group watch his hemorrhoidectomy.
yeah, well,
Thanks, Eric.
Something to talk to your surgeon about.
So also P-Beat says airplanes are designed to withstand turbulence, yes, and other environmental factors, and their altitude and speed generally insulates passengers from the feelings of effects of an earthquake occurring on the ground. Yes, because it's occurring on the ground.
Or like an elevator, if you jump during an earthquake, you wouldn't feel it.
Okay, Bugs Bunny. that one cartoon where that the elevator's going down and it's a Pink Panther and he just steps off of it. Yeah. And of course we have our joke of the day. It's their fault. But no, I think, you know, it's interesting that the planet is constantly telling us who's boss. I mean, and earthquakes seem to be, because where are you going to go? You know, if there's a fire, you can run. If there's an earthquake, yeah, you can run, but you can't get there far enough, fast enough.
Well, right, because even a big one's going to last like 30 seconds.
And that doesn't seem like a long time, but if you're in the middle of it, it probably seems like a long time.
Right. Yeah. The scary part is that, you know, we do disaster drills and tabletop drills with the hospitals and county EMS and all this stuff. Like what happens if there's a big fire somewhere or a chemical, whatever, or like the Super Bowl coming up. Mm-hmm. They do tabletop exercises because that's a terrorist target and that kind of stuff. But if there's an earthquake, it's amazing how quickly kind of the drill just runs into a dead end because everybody's affected in a wide area. The roads are down. It's not just one hospital that needs help from everybody else. It's everybody needs help. And you're just kind of hosed.
Well, because you look at if you're in a fire and it's a smaller fire, you can jump in water. Okay. If it's a windstorm, you can usually go inside, or a tornado and get into the basement. With an earthquake, where can you go? Because, I'm going to go to the basement. Yeah, until the basement cracks open and you're looking at lava 4,000 feet down. You know, I mean, there's nowhere you can go. And to me, that, as far as natural disasters, even though they are not listed as the most destructive, hurricanes and tidal waves are, but still, no.
Yeah. Well, and like the big huge fires that we've had here, you can bring in, you know, they're a slower kind of disaster, and you can bring in support trucks from all over the place. If the roads are down, you can't bring in anybody from anywhere.
Right. Exactly.
What? Is the whole point of this show to get me to regret moving here? Is that the whole thing?
No, not at all. Not at all. But if you remember up further, your mom said maybe it's time for you to move to Portland.
Yeah. Well, hey, I remember when St. Helens blew up there, you know.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah. See, that when you think about it, you know, anywhere there's mountains or hills, those are all tectonically driven. So you can have earthquakes
somehow.
Right. Now, we've been having something go on here that people think is an earthquake, but yet nobody can answer it. All of a sudden on an afternoon, you hear this huge thunderous boom. I mean, just like a sonic boom.
Yeah.
But it's not a sonic boom because the Air Force says we're not flying anything like we believe that. But there's mining operations. And I think what a lot of these earthquakes are subsidence. People are pumping water and oil and natural gas out of the ground, and it's creating pockets, and those pockets are collapsing. That's what I think it is.
You know, I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess localized earthquakes, because you're like, and that's what's crazy to think about is you think, like you said, like Mother Nature shows it who's boss. And you're like, as humans, who are we able to, influence what happens to Mother Nature? But enough people over time, you see with, the ozone hole and the global warming and all this stuff, that you can throw stuff out of balance. So I think locally, you see these sinkholes that open up with, the houses and stuff coming in, and it's because like they did pump out an aquifer or something like that.
Well, I think, and Stephen brings up a good point, that scientifically it's been proven that fracking does cause earthquakes, depending on, because the problem is when you start drilling deep, and we're talking not 100 feet, we're talking thousands and thousands, and maybe even times miles deep.
Landman stuff. Yeah.
You don't know what's down there. You don't know if there's a void or a pocket or whatever the case may be. And to me, that's why I know that a lot of people don't like him. But I like him because he's trying to find a way for us to get off this rock eventually. Because think about it. If everything goes to heck in the handbasket, I want to be able to call the airport and say, I want to take the next flight to Mars.
I did hear a good argument, though. It might have been my boy Neil deGrasse Tyson again, but I think
the Pluto killer. The Pluto killer.
The one that said, if we can, what do they call it? So that you can go to another planet and make it habitable. There's something
terraforming.
If we can terraform another planet, we could fix this planet too, so we didn't have to leave it.
Well, okay. Yes, I would, and obviously he's much smarter than I am. But if you think about it, if we wanted to terraform our planet, everybody that's currently living right now is done. Because to terraform a planet, you've got to change things, and that's why a lot of people think it's crazy. But Musk wants to nuke Mars. I mean, not just a little bomb. He wants to nuke the whole planet. Why? Because that would create. Well, yeah, it would create the sun would be blocked. It would create a greenhouse gas, and hopefully a atmosphere would form, and we could be there. Now, we'll never be there, but
all right. Well, whatever. He's got to figure his shit out first, because he just cut off production of my favorite car. So we're on bad terms.
I knew you were going to go there. And according to Tig Lily, Mars has already been nuked, which you could argue that point. But yeah, earthquakes also happen on all planetary bodies too. So there is that.
Do they?
Yeah, because there's a moon Enceladus, I think it is, that has volcano geysers of ice that were created by tectonic issues.
That's what I was going to say. It would have to be a planet that has a crust over a liquid center. Because like the moon doesn't have earthquakes because it's solid, right?
Well, is it solid? Or is it hollow? Or is it hollow? You remember that when the astronauts went up there, they heard a ringing for 30 minutes.
No, I never heard that.
Look it up.
Look it up. It's on the internet.
No. It's in the NASA archives. But either way, I mean, earthquakes are spooky. They're crazy. They're things that, and I know that even up in Oregon and Washington, they probably don't have them that often, but obviously they have them, because I know the big thing in Washington, if there's an and that's the scary part. Yes. Terraforming is like fumigating. You can only do so when no one is home. See, there you go. There you go. I knew that comment was coming. Trust me, I knew that comment was coming. But what's interesting about all of this is the earthquakes that happen on land. Okay, so yeah, you have to worry about things opening up or just shaking. But when they happen due to a landslide in the deep ocean, well, now it's not the earthquake you have to deal with. It's the tsunami you have to deal with.
Right.
And those people that live in Washington and Oregon and stuff like that, I know that there was what was it, in Alaska, I think there was one in the 1920s or something, that produced a wave that was like 560 feet tall.
God, not a wave 500 feet tall.
Yes, I will somebody look it up. It was I think it was the Alaskan earthquake. Because what happened is after the earthquake happened, the wave was funneled into a canyon. And so it just kept building and building and building and building.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be. I mean, you got super waves that happen that out in the ocean, just these freak waves because there's
Rogue
enough
wave, yep.
confluence of waves that build up onto each other, and then
Well, there's a place near you that people go surfing. It might be a little bit further
Mavericks.
south. Well,
That's
but it's
okay.
called the wedge. It's called the wedge. And what happens is the way the way water comes in like 7 or 8 feet and then just climbs to like 30 feet and then dumps. And then there's people in Portugal that are surfing waves that are over 100 feet now. That's nuts.
That's nuts. Could you imagine? I mean, yeah. They
No.
got to lose people to those waves on a regular basis, right?
Well,
I mean,
Mavericks
if you get
loses.
smacked,
I think Mavericks loses people for a couple of reasons.
they
One,
stopped doing them
oh, did they really?
for the safety. Yeah, because the
Yeah,
waves kept getting bigger. And,
Well, the waves are big, the water's cold, and there's these things called great whites that like cold water. No thanks.
I'm not sure that. You know, I've been thinking about where did it go? Where's this? Did I? Oh, here. I'll have to say. Now, I can't, but if you know enough physics, you can easily calculate the mass of the moon because it's in orbit around the Earth, which would mean it has to have a certain amount of mass for how quickly it's going in its orbit, right?
Mhm.
And so you should be able to figure out if it could possibly be hollow or not, right? Because if
Well, I
it's
think-
hollow and doesn't have enough mass, it's going to fly right the frick off into outer space.
Well, but remember, it's our gravity that keeps it
Right.
in, so. But there's also people that think that the Earth is hollow, or there's voids down there. Well, they've proven there's voids down there, but
Well,
I mean, who's going to go 30
you
miles
know
deep?
what? Are we done with earthquakes? Because I got another weird thing.
Well,
that
we got to talk about food and earthquakes first, because remember, I said
Oh.
everything in the show was shaky. So, what type of food, and let's see if the barflies can figure this out. What type of food do we eat on a regular basis that could survive an earthquake because of the consistency of the food itself? Let's see if anybody can figure that out. First one wins.
That's an odd.
Jello salads. They jiggle.
So does
If-
a steak.
I've never had a jiggly steak.
Yes, you have. If
No, I
you have a medium steak and you take your plate, it's gonna.
Oh no, it's going to slide right off because the
Okay,
juices
here,
are going to.
somebody's posting. What do it?
On August 10th, 2025, Southeast Alaska witnessed one of the most extraordinary natural disasters. I don't think it was 2025 of modern times. In early morning hours, a massive section of mountainside. Okay. Oh, this is going to be a one-word thing.
It's a
from the rest of them.
cliffhanger.
It
Tune in
wasn't
next episode.
It wasn't 2025. I think it was 1925. But the mountain section went down and created the tsunami. Milkshakes. There's a go to milkshakes can survive.
But,
And I'll tell you what, there's nothing like a good milkshake. Nothing. Like we were talking about this on the Zoom call. The Jamocha almond fudge milkshake from Arby's.
yeah.
Coffee, chocolate, fudge. Ugh.
Okay, wait. Before I put up this next comment, I want you to center yourself. Go back to the 60s where you might have smoked a little something and interpret this line.
Around the ED 500-meter wave. See, I'm not supposed to laugh because I know that the punishment will make a 7.8 earthquake be nothing. Now, I have to give her credit. She went out shopping and had to deal with hi Pantea, had to deal with traffic and everything. But yeah, I am kind of concerned that her typing, and she hasn't had any wine as far as I know.
I know you should go check for stroke symptoms. I think.
Actually, Pantea, the topic
is slurred.
we went to food. Earthquakes were the topic, and then we started talking about jiggly food. I don't know about.
Also, you made me think about when we were talking about fires and stuff. You remember Red Adair?
Mm-hmm.
That guy was awesome. That was some good TV viewing when he was, you know.
Well, and the fact that
Oh.
John Wayne played him in one of the movies when, there'd be a big oil break and it'd be on fire and he'd go and cap that crap off. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but that was impressive. All those oil refineries overseas, and
My typing is suspect. But yeah, I mean, it's I think earthquakes are fascinating, but they're also scary. And then of course, when we have friends that are in earthquake prone areas, it's when I get something in the mail that says, San Francisco area's got 100 earthquakes in the last 30 days.
So which would you rather have to live through? And say that your house had significant damage, but it didn't have to be knocked down and you could repair it. Would it either be having to live through an earthquake that caused it or a tornado?
I would probably say tornado, only because tornadoes don't happen in the same spots over and over again.
So your philosophy is, okay, I have this earthquake, it messed up my house, I got to take out a loan and fix it, and it could happen again in the same damn place next year.
Right. But interesting, Pantea says she would take it in an earthquake 100%.
Right. Well, because I was thinking you don't have the anticipation. It's just you're sitting around and boom, it happened.
Right.
Versus a tornado, you got the warnings, you're watching the weather radar, your power goes out, you hear the noises. That seems terrifying.
Yeah. Well, any type of natural disaster like that. I mean, I went through hurricane, I forget which hurricane it was off the eastern seaboard, and that was scary. That was scary because there's no letting up. I mean, it's hours and hours and hours. The argument is with a tornado or with a earthquake, it's minutes. I don't know. I did not look that up to see what the longest continuous earthquake, while it was going.
Well, I guess either one of those is better than storm flooding like in Louisiana and stuff, because that's coming back
right
every few years.
Yeah, storm surge. Locust wouldn't be fun.
If you had locusts that cause significant damage to your house, yeah, that'd be rough.
Well, that's when we get into the whole biblical thing. We get into the whole biblical thing of flies and and
true. Maybe you just burn some sage and they wouldn't come back.
That's true.
Exercise your demons.
So yeah, that pretty much tells us. So Tiger Lily, the tornadoes announce their damage. The earthquake could set you foundation on the precipice of a catastrophic failure you might not realize. True.
Well, that's some nerdy engineer stuff.
That's engineer stuff. But notice how when she talks about engineering thing, her typing perfect. So that's interesting too. Okay, so we're pretty much done with earthquake stuff. So what was the topic you wanted to discuss?
Here, getting back to last week's topic about making flour out of crickets.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can eat crickets.
Source.
Well, there's a Mexican food that's made out of crickets, and we talked about this. I just can't remember. I didn't look it up. What the
mole?
Name of it is. No. Let me look.
That's where it gets the red color, Dave.
No. He gets it from the chocolate.
Oh yeah. I don't like mole.
I don't either.
No. Okay. Well, cover that.
It is called. So Mexican cricket food is actually that's what chapulines. So it consists of toasted grasshoppers seasoned with chili, lime, and garlic. And you can do,
Was it just a bowl of toasted grasshoppers?
Yeah, but you can grind it up and use it as a spice. Yeah, chapulines, a plural form for chapulin, which are grasshoppers of the genus Phapharium and are certain areas of Mexico. Yeah, chapulines.
I'd much rather eat that than the little wormy things that they say you can use for food too.
Right. Well, they do have, there's a couple of tortilla chips that you can get here locally that are chapulin or grasshopper tortilla chips. I've never tried them.
I bet they taste the same. I mean, they taste like oil and salt probably.
Yeah. Flour. Yeah. So what was the thing that you, you're right. Shaving with Williams soap. Let's not discuss that right now. I'm only on day 3 and I'm bored to tears. But anyways, so what was the topic you wanted to bring up?
I did.
Forgot. You forgot, didn't you?
Didn't I? I thought I
brought
it up.
You said, are we done with earthquakes? And then we went to food, and we never came back to.
I don't. Yeah, I forgot it. That was at least 3 minutes ago. Anyway, yeah, so this is a natural disaster show, I guess. Fires would be another shitty way to have to live through, because in theory you get evacuated out and you don't know what's happening to your house or your property for days.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, that's also rough. They go back and like everything is gone. You see people sifting through just looking for a ring or something, and like everything is gone.
Well, I think north of you, I think it's Northern California where the Paradise Fire. I think that was just north of you. I have some clients that lived through that, and there were people that said, "Nope, I'm staying at the house," and you can imagine what happened.
Like that guy when St. Helens went off. There was that old man that lived on the mountain there, and he didn't want to come. You know that watch repair show that we like to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that? That some guy in the Paradise Fire had
that Rolex, right?
No, that was in Southern California. Yeah, because he got it from a producer, right? A movie producer or something. And they remade that. You know this cool. Since we're potpourri of topics today, there's a company that to talk about pro high-end sports. The USA curling team reached out to a micro brand watchmaker and asked them to make them a watch. On the back of the watch is a disc of the granite or whatever that they make the stone out
really
of.
That's what was, do you know, that watch is not available yet, I assume.
What they made. And I was, as soon as I read it, I went to the website, gone. They only made 10 of them. They made 5 for the team and 5 other ones just because it was so hard to cut the stone and all this stuff. But
yeah,
can you imagine? That's a cool watch.
That is cool. And speaking of, that dovetails into February 6th when the Winter Olympics start.
Dun, da, da, da.
Well, you know, it's funny. I don't watch the Summer Olympics, but I will watch the Winter Olympics because we like the we like the curling. We like the bobsledding, and believe it or not, our favorite is the speed skating. We love watching that.
Speed skating is very cool, especially Apollo Ono. Man, he was the man.
Yeah.
So downhill skiing where they're doing like 90 miles an hour on pure ice. I don't understand how that. I mean, I get that they're athletes at that point, and it's about the sport, but if you're not doing that, skiing on what sounds like almost pure ice, that does not seem enjoyable at all.
Well, yes. And the fact that it's going to be in Italy this year is cool. Plus, you have to ask, is the ski jumping, which is awesome, when they hit that ramp and they go off and they're flying, you got to bet inside they're going, woohoo-wee, you know, because that would be a blast. That would be an absolute blast.
Here's a good best disaster movie ever made.
Ever made? I have to go with one that I was terrified to ever go on a ship afterwards, and that was the Poseidon Adventure.
I love that movie as a kid.
The original one, yeah.
With the old lady.
Yep, Shirley MacLaine. Or not Shirley MacLaine. Shelley Winters. Yeah, Shelley Winters. Yeah, that movie scared the heck out of me. I did not want to go on a boat ever because of that.
Okay. So yeah, that might be, I probably watched that one more than any other disaster movie. But Independence Day, a documentary, comes a close second. Yeah.
I agree that is probably a documentary. I do agree there. Well, Earthquake, The Towering Inferno, well, any of the, like last night, it just happened to be on and we watched Kong versus Godzilla. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's always Hong Kong that gets messed up. You know, so.
Well, isn't there some movie where there's a Godzilla in San Francisco?
Yeah, in fact, well, that's Monarch, the series, Monarch. The Titans come out. But see, what people don't realize is Godzilla and King Kong are now buddies. They help people now. They're not enemies anymore. They fought in Hong Kong, and there was a Mecha Godzilla that they both fought against, and now because Godzilla could have killed King Kong in Hong Kong, and he didn't. Because Godzilla, we created. He was on an atoll. He was an iguana. That's what Godzilla was. We nuked we had the nuclear testing, and that's how Godzilla got formed.
Oh, like the Hulk.
Kind of, yes.
And so,
and I'm waiting for Eric to chime in here, because Eric is like the expert when it comes to that.
So by helping people, I assume that's because then these other weird creatures that want to destroy mankind, and they go in and kill these other weird creatures.
Right, because like the new series, or the second season of Monarch, and Monarch is about the group that discovers the Titans, which is Godzilla, King Kong. There's a couple other ones, and they now protect everybody from that. Godzilla -1. Enough said. Yes.
Is that the next movie? Is that
No, that was, I can't remember. That was like, Eric will have to say it, but the one thing I appreciated about Godzilla versus King Kong is they use the term Gojira, which is really his true name. So that was kind of cool.
You know, another documentary that's a lot of fun to watch is Jurassic Park.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Boy, that's a movie that still holds up too. When did that come out? Was that the 90s?
I don't know. That's back when Joel Goldblum was like the sex symbol of people.
Sex symbol of mathematics.
You know, he's like 6'9".
Yeah, he's a
really tall dude.
Yeah.
The Creeping Terror. I don't remember that one. Was that like about a blob type movie?
Or would that be about kudzu?
Could be that.
Whatever happened to kudzu? That was in the national news for a while. Back in I think maybe the 90s or something. They showed towns that were taken over by this kudzu plant, and it was just
down in the south where
or something was the concern.
Yeah, where Sharon's brother lives down in Louisiana. It's everywhere. It's all over everything.
Oh, it's still there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hit a natural limit somewhere. And
right. That's one thing. The Thing by John Carpenter, the one with what's his name? I just talked about him. Jesus. I don't know.
I remember seeing that once.
It was just a guy under a car. But you know, those old movies like that are awesome. They're awesome.
So that's always been weird, right? Because back in the day, the comedy shows and stuff were just really, the humor was just so basic. And you're like, did people ever find this funny? And you watch a show like that where obviously were people actually ever scared watching these things, or is it supposed to be like campy, funny stuff?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's like It, which is about the giant ants, you know, and but yeah, those B movies. What I loved is like when Godzilla versus Gamera. Gamera was a turtle, and he had rocket engines that shot out where his legs were, and he would spin as he was flying through the air.
That's some evolution there, buddy.
That's right. That's Gamera.
Well,
you know.
Okay, so apparently this Sunday Super Bowl, I didn't realize that we're already creeping up on Super Bowl Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Are we watching that? Are you going to watch it?
Well, if we're going to have a show about it the following week, talking about the commercials, then I will watch it. Yes. Right. Neither one of the teams I have any.
Yeah, I could care.
I mean, I'm going to root for Seattle because I don't want New England to take the Pittsburgh Steelers record. So that's the only reason. I wanted the Broncos to make it, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll watch it for that reason. Plus, it's an excuse to go and get chicken wings and nachos and not feel guilty about it.
You know, we're terrible with the Super Bowl snacks because we'll lay it out, you know, the spread at the beginning, the chips and the veggies and all this stuff. And then we'll have the back stock that, you know, well, we'll put this in the oven at halftime. Well, you're stuffed by then. Like nobody's ready to eat anymore. And
yeah, we used to do the same thing. We'd have brie and crackers. We'd have, you know, salami and cheeses. And then we'd have tortilla chips and nachos. And then we'd have chicken wings. And like I said, people ate 3 pieces and that was it. And it just sat there.
Yeah.
So
All right, so we'll watch the Super Bowl. We'll have our third annual Super Bowl Drinks and Dave show at that point.
yeah, that'll be the third annual.
Woo!
I don't think I ever saw this movie.
Constipation, the movie.
But I can see where it would be a very
Well, because
scary.
it moved really slow, Dave. Got kind of
Wow. That's 2 puns in one night, Dave. You're doing really well.
Check
Yeah,
under
you're
your
doing well.
stool. Boom!
But-
Call back. That's high comedy, buddy.
Exactly. And and the thing is, guys, you have to understand the reason why you see the smorgasbord of topics is because we ask every single week, and Dave's going to put it up again.
All right.
If you have a show topic idea, please let us know. Email us. Put it in the comments.
We check that email address at least every 3 months. So
Exactly. So
Give
if
it-
there
give
is
us
a
something
if
to-
there's a top, now we already have the topic for next week, and that's Super Bowl commercials.
yeah.
And this is the first time this has happened in history. You have a choice of which halftime Super Bowl show to watch.
Now, so it was Bad Bunny, but then I heard somebody else is performing.
Well, Bad Bunny is the official Super Bowl halftime show. However, according to him, soon as it's done, he's moving out of the States. He's going back to Puerto
I
Rico,
didn't know
guess.
who Bad Bunny. Oh, till the Grammys. And can I say the Grammys now?
It's
make
a
you feel
political
older
show.
than anything else. I'd not heard of almost any of these people.
Right.
Almost
and
all the music I just would want to mute.
And we could get into a whole nother topic about award shows, because they've gone from being about the awards to being about what's going on in politicalness. And I'll just say one thing. Billie Eilish was talking about how we took over the Native American land. Guess where her house is? It's on Native American land. But yeah. So yeah, the other God, that freaked me out. I thought I had a spider on my leg and it was a dog. The other halftime show is more of a rock and roll show. It's got
On
a
a
bunch of
different channel.
Yeah, it's on a different channel.
Oh, well,
altogether,
because
but
they've
it's-
always had the Puppy Bowl on some channels.
they've got that on its streaming this year. Yeah, we watched the Puppy Bowl. Of course, we watched the Puppy Bowl.
Yeah.
But I don't watch the halftime shows, because I remember when the halftime shows you looked forward to, and now it's like it's the same thing, but it's generational too. So this is another interesting. Americans eat 1.48 billion chicken wings during the Super Bowl. Where did they get the chickens from? Chicken farm?
Probably the same place that McDonald's get their chicken nuggets from.
So, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see the commercials. I've seen a couple of hints on the commercials, and they look pretty good.
I just saw a video today along the waterfront by the Golden Gate Bridge of the Budweiser Clydesdale horses walking with the big wagon, the Budweiser wagon. That was
that's cool. Yeah, we've seen him. I've seen him once here in Tucson, and it is pretty impressive. I mean, it's pretty impressive to see that. I mean, I wish it was like a different beer company, but I get it. I mean, it's Budweiser.
There's your answer.
That's what I love about your dad. I love that. 1.48 from 7.4 billion chickens.
That's right. 2 wings
Or
per
0.74.
chicken.
That's right. But you know what? I'm sorry. There's nothing like chicken wings, though. They're so good. You don't like chicken wings?
They're half bone, man.
Well, but which ones do you get? Do you take the drummy or do you take the wing?
I don't buy chicken wings.
But see, here's what you do. You take the wing. Okay. And you take the wing once it's cooked, you twist it. That cracks the cartilage, and then you take it, put it in your mouth, boom, suck all the meat out. You're done.
Yeah.
No bones, no nothing, just chicken.
We just get chicken strips if we get chicken.
Oh, okay.
Low residual.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't understand what this is. Steve, they're 12-inch band. Oh, over the Bay Area. Okay.
The 12. So the 12th man is the fans of the Seahawks. They're known as the 12th man because they make the stadium so loud. And
Oh, okay. Okay. I would assume that Steven, since the Broncos didn't make it, are going to be rooting for Seattle, I would assume. Maybe not.
I don't know. I don't think he cares. Broncos or nothing.
Right.
All right.
Now,
Well,
have you guys always been Bronco fans?
Well, he has.
How
I
about
was
you?
born in Colorado, so we
Oh,
like to
okay.
support the family legacy.
But you're a giant, I mean, a 49er fan, though, right?
Only if they're doing well. I'm a fair weather fan for all sports. It's not fun to root for a loser.
Well, except for Formula One. You like everybody.
Everybody.
Now,
Yeah.
did we speak about this on the Zoom call or on this show that you really thought that the movie Formula One was good, which it was? Have you seen it? The
Yes.
one with Brad Pitt? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Excellent movie.
Yes. And the documentary is excellent. And there's another documentary I saw that's over an hour long, just about the cinematography I haven't seen yet.
That would be neat. That would
Yeah.
be neat. That would be cool. So
What is this guy?
he wants us to eat. He wants us to eat oysters.
I think PB has an oyster farm.
I think he does. He has an oyster farm.
All right. Well, tune in
Next week,
for the
next
official
Tuesday.
rating of Super Bowl commercials.
Right. And we will rate them by and Dave and I will have our notebooks out.
Well, I was going to say this time I'm going to actually have to write them down because last time I think I only remembered half of them.
Well, and the thing is, I would love to show clips of them, but we'd run into copyright strikes, and that's not good.
Yeah, we'd hate to be demonetized.
Exactly. Well, we're only 920 away from being monetized.
Well,
No, actually, I take that back. You can monetize at 500 now.
Oh boy!
So we're at like 130.
Wow.
We're getting there slowly but surely. Hey,
Good.
Oysters are scowy. No, they're not. Oysters are great. James Dean was a better racer.
Once you wrap your car,
I was going to say he was a better racer until he wasn't. That's like you could argue that Dale Earnhardt was a better racer until he wasn't.
Too soon. No, it's not. Not too
Well,
soon.
I was a big Dale Earnhardt fan, and what's funny is even with what happened to Dale, it changed racing entirely. Not only NASCAR, it changed F1, it changed them all. Right. So can't necessarily be a bad thing.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it. Any final comments from our barflies? And don't forget, you need to take your earthquake kits home because we don't have any place to store them.
They consist of a can of Pringles, a small bottle of scotch, and some RC0.
And some beech nut chewing gum. And a pack. And I forgot it. A pack of sweet tarts.
Oh man! See, we got to get a website up so we can market this stuff.
Yes, the earthquake kit. Well, I think we wore out the barflies because not one has made a comment. And yes, we are accepting donations to the Tig Lily typing
lessons
journey workshop she's going to be going to.
And here's
with that, Dave might be doing the show by himself next week because I may be killed. Because Sharon can be mean. Johnny Carson telling Lincoln assassination joke is 150 years too soon. Wow, that's true. Well, I think that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us. We certainly appreciate it. Please tell your friends to come and join us. I mean, I know that on my shave videos, and I know Dave does it, we promote it. We need to get more people in the audience so we can have some fun. So tell all your friends and stuff like that. Good. She didn't hear that part. She was probably looking at some conspiracy video while that was happening. Anyways, I think that's it. Say goodnight, Dave. Good night, barflies. We'll see you guys next week. Remember, Super Bowl.